Hey guys, let's go up the green spire, the Emerald Spire, with my amazing green team. They're very low level, but there's a lot of synergy between the characters. So I want to showcase that and show you guys their special abilities and how they all work together. And here, the leader is Shikare. She is of course a sniper, which allows her to attack her enemies no matter where she is on the map, and I like to use snipers as leaders. That way I can be as mobile as I want without, forcing myself to end close to an enemy at the end, no matter what color I'm using. My healer is Uriah, and her ability basically allows you to convert the closest green tile into an enhanced tile, assuming that she heals you more than you need. And you can see an example of it here. Now when I choose how to go about it, I always try to plan so that I can end up as close to the enemy as possible in a centralized position, because I don't want to end up in the edge of the map so that I have less choices in the end. I want to plan for the next step so that I have somewhere to go afterwards. And also you want to hit all the tiles that is adjacent to the enemy itself, because every time you're in one of those is a physical hit. Whereas even if you chain up as many what I'm doing now, if you reach as high of a number of chain as possible, but you don't put yourself in a position where you can actually use an ability, it's all pointless. Wave 2! Odie with her entanglement, which I believe both slows and poisons enemies in the surrounding area. And the poison is really useful in situations where you just can't get close, can't get off any hits. So the poison keeps damaging the enemies. You'll see how helpful it is later on in boss fights. And again, everybody's skills pop at just the right time, all at once in coordinated fashion. Now it's a matter of picking which one to go first. So if I use Shikare first, since she converts the closest green tile, you might want to use her last because you want to convert tiles to green first so that's close to you, so that you're sure to use the enhanced tile afterwards. But Gabriel, on the other end, is an amazing converter. She basically turns a 4-colored map into a 3-colored tile map. May not always be green, but still makes it significantly better. But in this case, probably should have used what's her name? Shikare first. Convert all the surrounding cross-section to green first, and then used Gabriel just to increase the percentage. But I guess it doesn't matter. It's not like she's doing the closest, she's doing all the one color in the whole map. Now Louise is the most interesting character of all. You see her little dance in the Christmas village? What that does is the next 2 turns, when you go, all of your characters who are wood do their chain attack twice, or has a high percentage of doing their chain attacks twice at the end of their attack rather than just once. Their damage is based on percentage of Louise's own damage, but still it practically doubles the effectiveness of your team. And now you see the combo attacks coming, and is she gonna do it twice? Yep. You see healing happens twice. And if, the enemies weren't all dead, you would have seen them all get attacked by each of the power-ups twice, which is a huge boost. So that was Spire 1. Let's go up to floor 2. Emerald Spire level 2. They always start you off, I feel like, next to the same color tiles as your team. I do like how Uriah gets to use her ability right off the start, like basically on the right after your first turn, so that way she is sure to convert a tile into an enhanced tile, since you have full health to begin with. But in this case, since the green tiles didn't touch any enemies and weren't long enough to really rack up any skills, I opted for the yellow tiles, which allowed me to get 3 direct hits, and Shikara can do her sniper attack. But it did put me in a corner, which is somewhere I really don't like to be. As you can see, my choices are a lot more limited. In this team, at least, it's not like my water team where what's her name, Vice, needs to be surrounding herself with a number of blue tiles to really utilize her abilities. In this team, there isn't as much focus on the tiles surrounding you, but still, it's good to pay attention to your surroundings and don't put yourself in a corner like I did. Even though it was to rack up chain attack points. Combo points. And as much as I don't like to go in a corner, it's more important to make sure your final AoE actually hits. But in this case, it's not going to hit anyway, so might as well rack up as many combo points as possible. Oh, and that bug blocked my way, so now I was going to use the blue to go all the way to that big enemy there. But I'll make my own way. Shikara is great like that. She's both a sniper and a converter. And then use Gabriel then to convert the whole board. Yeah, that is such an OP. And to have all of their abilities again come into play all at one turn. So that I definitely have a green path laid out, and then Louis then go ahead and doubles everyone's power, everyone's combo attack. It works so well together. My only wish is that it would be able to pop it earlier instead of at this point of the game where most of the time I would have pretty much wiped out all the enemies already and it's just hitting the last enemy. It would be much more effective against a larger wave of enemies. But still not complaining. Here I'm just planning to see what it takes to both hit as many enemies as possible in the adjacent tiles, but also since it's not my color, since it's not green, when you do chains, you want to use up as many of the not green colors as you possibly can. When you do green tiles, once you hit max, you want to minimize the number of tiles you use and keep as many green on the board while still getting max. But when it's another different color, then you want to use up as many tiles as possible even after you hit max, so that there's a greater chance of used tiles being converted into green. Here I'm just again thinking very carefully and slowly. Just because this is such a low-level team, making sure that there's no mistakes being made. But of course, mistakes are still made. Because when I'm playing this, I'm struggling with a baby in my arm at the same time. And Odie uses her skills, and now everyone's poisoned. So even if I don't hit them, they still damage themselves. One more hit ought to do it. So right now I'm just planning it out so that I don't lose another turn. Because notice how there's only 2 remaining rounds left. So I have to do it the most efficient way. And that should do it. Yep. And of course heal at the end, which is so nice of them to build in. Because if they just ended the battle whenever enemies died, the chances of you getting the whole 3 stars over 50%, leftover thing could be significantly reduced if you play it close every time. I don't, because I always have a healer in my team. And then level 3. Let's go. Starting off at the edge of green again. They're so nice to put you in a nice position every time when you start. And then we hit some stuff. So after that, Uriah's gonna pop. She's gonna convert a tile. But the tile's too far away for me to get to. And so I'm just gonna focus on hitting as many enemies as possible. Since I'm using a sniper as a leader, I don't have to end close to them in order to maximize my damage. They will come to me. And now I have the green tiles to do whole team damage. So yeah, again, always plan out where you're gonna end up. Don't just think about the current round. Think about where you'll end up and how you're gonna move the next turn. And all their skills pop at the same time. And you're all lined up nicely for me. And boom. Should I convert more? Of course I'm gonna convert more. And then double everyone's powers. It's such a good combination. Right now here I'm just trying to decide where I want to end up in at the end. So with green I was trying not to hit as many max as possible. So basically, if you're using the same color as your team, you want to, once you hit max, every other max after that is just wasting a green tile. But in this case, I wanted to hit, get the adjacent tiles so that I hit as many enemies as possible. I probably could have gone one more, like up one, so that that last enemy would have gotten hit twice too. But it was not necessary. Just from a perfectionist point of view, I could have gone up one more tile. And that was that. Fast. Floor 4. Mission start. Again with the green tiles in the beginning. So if I went one more, would have missed hitting it with some of my chain attacks. So stepped back one. Yeah. Max combo is not always the best route to go. And in terms of closest green tile, I do notice that adjacent counts as closer than diagonal. And there was just proof of that right now. And I've put myself into a corner, but that's alright because I knew there were tiles, blue tiles over there, so that would allow me to get several adjacent tiles on enemies. But then the red showed up, so this way I'll be able to hit as many of them as with the blue, even more. And on top of that, I won't be surrounded Because if they move again, I'll be surrounded on all sides and I won't even be able to move out at all. So yeah, don't put yourself in a situation where you're surrounded by enemies. And of course, before all their powers pop, I've already killed off the majority of the enemies. So that is the one one sad truth about this combination. But, you know, might as well still use it. I suppose I could have held it off for the next wave. But then I was thinking that if I use it now, since there's 3 waves, there's more of a chance of it popping again before the end of this game. But just how many tiles do I use, since there's only 1 enemy? So I wanted to use as little as possible, giving me a chance to still have a lot of green on board for the next wave coming up. Unfortunately, that put me in a corner. Thinking about it, it would be really nice to also have a teleporter for this team. But for right now, it's working out. So I'm just gonna keep it in this arrangement until, you know, I meet somebody I can't beat. I believe the next floor will be the boss. Again, trying to minimize the number of tiles after max. So there were some tiles in the beginning I could have skipped in order to reach max and end up in the same position, but I was too lazy to redraw the whole thing. Doesn't really matter that much, I guess. But the perfectionist in me hurts a little bit. What do I do now? I'm stuck in a corner. Even though I keep saying don't put yourself in a corner, and yet I keep putting myself in the corner. Just can't help it. See there, missed another yellow tile right at the beginning. I could have hit that. Mistakes were made. That's what happens when you play while you're fighting a baby. And by fight, I mean wrestling. And by wrestling, they all sound bad, don't they? Trying to take good care of a baby who is struggling because she just wants to run around. One time I had like a huge chain build up almost to max, and then she slapped the iPad out of my hand. That was sad. I think she enjoys it. She always laughs when I make mistakes. Just like whenever I pretend to cry, she'll laugh at me. Enough baby talk. Okay, so a good sniper is always great to have as a leader. But now I'm almost surrounded, so it's fairly important that I get myself out of the situation. Good thing is that now is the time where my abilities popped, which is the perfect time. And suddenly I went from being surrounded to having the whole board. No, don't do that. Yeah. I can see it clearly now what I should do. Ugh. I should have gone diagonally so I would have gotten to hit that enemy on the bottom and then circled back around and still have made it. Yeah, you missed that corner there. Just go back and hit that enemy on the bottom. You could have gotten him. Regrets. And here I was thinking, oh, Shikare will just get it with her sniper attack, but nope, just missed. Had to finish off the other one first, so now I could have ended that round there, but because of that one mistake, now I have to make my way there somehow. But all it took was a sniper. These are the times when snipers really shine. When you have far away enemies you just can't get to, you just want to end the game. Snipers where it's at. And now we have the boss fight, I believe. I did level up my Louise a little bit right before this fight, just a couple of levels, thinking, oh no, boss fight, it's gonna be hard. And then, well, you'll see what happens. What is this? Not using green tiles at the beginning of a fight? Yeah, the boss pretty much surrounded himself with tiles that got so that I could just, you know, made a total of what, 6 hits on him from the very start. And the good thing about Shikara is that her weapon, her equipment power is to take 40 or 60% once I hit level 3 equipment of the enemy's HP at her first hit. And at least that's what the description said, but from the looks of it, maybe it's 60% of the enemy's attack. Here I could have minimized the max chain a little more, but I just went with it. It got me close to it. It allowed me to do a bunch of chain attacks afterwards. And yet just like that, it was dead. Even with me making mistakes and everything. So that's it for this video. And we'll continue going up the spire in my next video of this series. See you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe and like.